Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This video that has 2 stories and both of them having updates is of course brought to you by Smiley Face Coffee, the official coffee of the Lost Genre community. Go ahead and check it out, the link is in the description below. Now let's get started with the first of the 2 stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships and it's by user Deleted. My 20 female mom 50s wants me to lie about my time in therapy. Am I wrong for being upset? Hey everybody, thank you for taking the time to read this. I hope this doesn't get too long. My parents divorced 4 years ago when I was still in high school and I decided to stay with my dad in order to be able to stay in my school. It's been okay, I still have a lot of contact with my mom, but right now I am in a bit of an overwhelming situation with her and I can honestly no longer tell who's in the wrong, so maybe y'all can help. I was professionally diagnosed with depression and an eating disorder about 8 months ago. Personally, I was in such a bad state that I would have been just fine giving up on everything, but my dad made me move into a therapy center for 6 months and that honestly saved my life. I learned to face my demons and I got better. I will never be perfect, but I'm good, so everything should be great, right? Wrong. You see, my mom didn't want me to go away in the first place. She was really angry at me and said some very mean things before I left. She didn't visit me once, and when I came back, she didn't even want to see me right away, which didn't exactly make everything easier. And now I found out that she has been lying to people about where I have been. She has been telling them that I spent a year abroad. She even made up my travel route and the experiences I supposedly had. I know this because she called me to demand I play along during the birthday party of a family friend next week. She gave me a whole bunch of stories to tell people. She thinks it's only fair for me to spare her the embarrassment after what I made her go through. What the F? I think the whole thing is crazy. I feel awful. I came out of therapy, happy with myself and proud of what I have overcome, ready to be open and honest with everyone, and now this. I wasn't embarrassed, but now I feel like I should be. I can't even tell if I'm actually being egoistic about this. My dad is there for me, but he refuses to interfere with my mother's side of the family and friends because he is convinced that she has made him out to be a liar to all of them. What do I do? Wow, first of all, OP, you shouldn't be embarrassed. You should be proud of what you did. Like you said, you faced your demons and you came out the other side stronger, so good for you. What your mom is doing is simply showing you that she sucks as a person and that you should cut her out of your life. You don't need somebody who is going to accuse you of embarrassing her because of what you went through. F you, Mom. What the hell? And she even made up stories because she was embarrassed by this? I would say the egoistic here or the narcissist is your mom. It's all about her and how things reflect on her. F you once again. OP, don't be embarrassed about what you've overcome and be open and honest with people. You don't need to follow your mom's games or rules anymore. Just tell her to deal with it and not call you anymore. And about your dad, it's great that you have him in your corner and he's the one that's been supporting you throughout all of this. And I also kind of understand why he doesn't want to do anything with your mom or her family. Anyway, I'm sorry OP, your story pissed me off. I mean, not your story, your mom pissed me off. So, rant over. And what do you guys think about OP's situation? How would you deal with OP's mom? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Full Metai says, you should be upset with your mother and not yourself. Good for your dad for supporting you and to yourself in getting the help you need. Be proud of what you have done. I know many people who are yet able to accept help. Your mother has no right to lie, nor do you have any reason to lie. She is embarrassed of you, but that's her problem. Your dad, friends, myself, and I'm sure other Redditors will and are proud of you. Your mother is acting like a child and you don't need any part of her little game. Yes, it's painful to know this is how your mother is, but you are not in her shadow. She is in yours. You faced your demons. She is not. Stay strong and don't let her bring you down. If you feel you want to still be part of her life, tell her. Show her how strong you are and show her what you have accomplished. You have nothing to be ashamed or embarrassed about. I Love Puss says, "Hello, my dear. I could ramble on about this forever, so I'll do my best to keep it short. I was in a super similar situation 3 years ago and ended up spending a year at a treatment center for my eating disorder and depression issues. And my parents are divorced as well, and they had very different reactions to my being in treatment. Anyway, the bottom line is that you should be incredibly proud of the strength and courage it took to start taking care of yourself, but most people may not look at it like that, as evidenced by your mom. It's depressing as crap to have a parent be embarrassed by you, but you need to hold your own and your own story. If she's embarrassed, that's her burden, not yours. Share whatever you're comfortable with, but going along with her lies is going to foster insincerity. I know it's harder than it sounds, but you deserve to be authentically you." And Blue Jelly says, "You have every right to be upset. You went through hell, got help, and now very likely have to battle mental illness for the rest of your life. And through all this, your mother made lies and abandoned you because she'd rather have a flawless trophy to show off than a daughter who's human like the rest of us." I know many people poke fun at this subreddit for always advocating the nuclear option, but hear me out. I am 23 and I too have suffered depression. Just like you, my mother made up stupid lies and expected me to back them up because she was too ashamed to admit she played a huge role in me being depressed. She cannot accept blame. She cannot accept I'm flawed. And while I was around her, I only became more and more depressed. Depression is, for many, a lifelong battle. You have to constantly remind yourself while you're getting up each morning and believe it's worth it. Having people who are ashamed of this reality only makes the battle harder, if not impossible. Go low contact or no contact with your mom and hug your dad, who has proven he'll stand by you and love you through hell and back. I wish you the very best, OP. It'll be tough, but you have a reason to keep going. Remember that family is those who stand by you and respect you, not simply those who share your blood. Alright, well, the community agrees. OP should just be proud of what she's done and a good riddance to her mom. Now, OP did not reply to any comments, which means we move on straight to the update to see what happened next. But before that, I'll just take a few seconds to recommend the global blends from Smiley Face Coffee. 5 different awesome blends to help you start and get through the day. Now, let's continue with that update. First of all, I want to thank you all for being so great to me. I didn't expect to get any replies, but y'all really came through. Thank you. Now, I'm sure you want to hear the juicy details. Well, things happened. There was a family festivity that I was supposed to go to and tell everybody about my time abroad, which is just ridiculous. So I texted my mom and told her that I could come and tell the truth or stay away and tell the truth. But either way, I would come clean with everybody, and she freaked out. She said some mean things before I went to therapy, but basically, now she said that a stay abroad would explain how I've gotten so fat. I'm not, by the way, I just don't look malnourished anymore. That I should stay away because I was an embarrassment and a drama queen, and that I was just doing it to make her miserable. She told me that she liked it when I was skinny and sweet, that these so-called doctors messed me up, and that I'm not her daughter anymore, how she wished she could just do what I did and be thin. She then said that I should be grateful to her for teaching me food discipline instead of making her life hell, and on and on and on, text after text for what felt like an eternity, until my dad took my phone away because I was at a breaking point. I was still trying to justify myself, but he made me realize that there was nothing to justify on my part. Stupidly enough, my mom didn't just say these awful things to me, she texted them, so there is proof. All I did was screenshot the message and send them to an aunt who I knew wouldn't take my mom's BS, and I guess after that, it took less than an hour for all family members to be informed. My mom tried everything to make me look like a liar, but obviously, it's hard to prove 6 months abroad without pictures when I have so many from the clinic. My mom now blocked me everywhere and hasn't spoken to my dad or me, but my aunt said that she is furious, telling all kinds of people weird conflicting stories all revolving around her suffering, and I guess they have just stopped listening. Some have come forward in support of me, but most of them understandably just want to stay out of this mess. This is not the way I would have liked to resolve the issue. I thought we were old enough not to resort to petty screenshots and high school bullying tactics, but I guess sometimes there is no other way. I'm glad I was honest. I am grateful that I have my dad, and honestly, I'm glad I asked for your guys' opinions. You may not realize it, but you helped me a lot. I'm sure that this is not over. I have hit my mom where it hurts the most, her pride, and she is not going to let this slide so easily. But you know what? I think I'm going to be fine. OP's edit. OMG guys, I'm honestly just overwhelmed right now. Thank you all for your positive messages. I would love to address some big points that I read several times. 1. My accounts are all safe. Apparently, my dad took care of that while I was gone. We have been talking a lot and he has really opened up about the divorce and many things are a lot clearer now. Interestingly, this mess has brought us even closer. 2. My mom has a problem. I mean, duh. But I think it's not my place to reach out right now. I have a feeling that she wouldn't take advice from me, and honestly, I'm also not keen on being around her for a while. I am not ready to completely detach myself from her, but low contact is something my dad and I are working on. And 3. I am still in therapy and will probably keep seeing a therapist for several years, which is good. Again, thank you so much everyone. Well, OP, nicely done. You exposed your mom, you got closer to your dad, and you feel good about yourself, which is the most important thing. You're doing good. So here's wishing you the best in the future, OP. Thank you so much for sharing and take care. And now let's move on to the next post that, like I said in the beginning, also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user CyanThrowaway7. My boyfriend, 22 male, wants me, 22 female, to stop participating in my favorite sports. My boyfriend and I have been dating for a year now. I think we're really dissimilar, but we make it work really well. He's a lot more involved in art and I'm into athletics. When we first started dating, I made my interest clear to him and he was enthusiastic. I'm not Olympics good, but I hope to be before it gets too late. He said he wanted to support me and he was willing to try some new sports and stuff with me. Of course, right at the start of our dating, I wrecked my leg, and our first few dates were spent doing puzzles and crosswords together, watching movies while I was buzzed on painkillers. He was awesome. It really solidified that he was the person I wanted to spend my life with. He took great care of me, and I loved to spend time with him and learned about what he enjoyed. He set up some paints in my living room so he could paint while we hung out. And I have so many paintings of me, my cat, and my houseplants. They're all so incredible. I love what he does. Now, after a lot of physical therapy and recovery, I finally got the chance to start snowboarding again, really late into the season, but I was able to. I asked my boyfriend if he wanted to come with me, and he wasn't up for it the past few weeks. I've been having a lot of fun going on my own, but I do wish I had him with me. I asked him one last time if he wanted to go with me as a sort of romantic getaway thing. We could get dinner and have a night in. He's been trying to teach me to paint, so I figured we could do a bit of that. He said that he didn't want to and then decided to cancel all our plans. I felt really kind of hurt. I asked him if he was okay, but he just shut me down. We've been watching the Olympics together and he's just not at all engaged. He shushes me when I get excited and just leaves if he's not interested in the event. I feel a little disrespected. I watch him paint for hours on end. I ask for the technique and I try to learn. I go to the museums with him even when I think they're boring and tedious. He doesn't have to love it, but he could at least show some interest. Today, I just felt a little fed up and asked why he wouldn't go with me and why he was so upset. I feel like I'm really respectful of his interests, but it doesn't seem like he cares about mine, so I confronted him. He told me he feels like I'm going to get hurt again, and it just comes off as a waste of time to do stuff like that. He says art is more permanent and something like sports doesn't last. Well, F me for liking it, right? He said he'd never do that sort of stuff with me, but told me he still loves me, he just wants me safe. I told him I appreciated the sentiment, I just wished he had shown more respect. He said it wasn't fair for him to pretend to like something he doesn't and then told me I should take up something less dangerous. He said he'd support me if I did some running or tennis or even golf. I told him I've got a limited window and I want to keep pursuing this. If something happens, it happens, but I want to make an attempt at least. He told me it didn't matter, that he couldn't support me doing this. I'm so frustrated. Is this breakup worthy? Or can I reconcile with him? Is he right? Well, OP, it's kind of like a tricky situation. At face value, no, he isn't right because you have the right to pursue whatever it is you want. And I kind of understand his point of wanting you to be safe. I mean, he did see, or he was with you when you got your leg mangled and had to have physical therapy and all that. But the way he's going about it is selfish in my opinion, and it's kind of like an unspoken ultimatum, you know? You either do what I want you to do, or I can't support you, or whatever. I'm not going to be interested in what you do anymore. Which leads me to the conclusion that your relationship is at an impasse, and you've got a hard choice to make, either your dream or your boyfriend. And I guess in the end, you're just gonna need to weigh them out and see which one is more important to you. And then you make a choice. And what do you guys think about OP's situation? How would you deal with it? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Alternatixct says, he's a selfish jerk. My hobbies are valuable, yours are worthless. Mine have lasting relevance, yours are irrelevant entirely. I expect you to listen to me and talk about my hobbies. I expect you to be silent about your hobbies. You must partake in and enjoy my hobbies regularly. I refuse to try one of your hobbies even one time. Look at how much better he thinks he is. Do not sacrifice a passion for these reasons for this person. It's not because he's afraid you'll get hurt. It's because he's not interested and he found a convenient and manipulative excuse. Deleted says, I know he says it's about your safety, but I suspect that if you were as into tennis as you are into snowboarding, the same issue would crop up and he would still not see the point of it or really support you in it. Some people just don't understand sports and what makes them awesome. I think that the injury early in your relationship may have given him an unrealistic picture of what your life is like, and now that it's bouncing back to normal, he is realizing he doesn't like it. I would absolutely not stop playing my favorite sport for a partner. I also would not accept him refusing to support you. You are a grown-ass woman and can do what you like. Ed LV says, I'm afraid you two are just not compatible. Liking different things is okay, but putting you down and attempting to stop you from doing what you enjoy is an instant deal breaker. Just walk away and find someone who will accept you instead of trying to tell you what to do and what not to do. And So Well Fan says, sounds like time for a breakup unfortunately. Having a partner who at least shares some interest in your major hobbies is such a huge, terrific thing. I don't know how I could live without it. Like, my fiance and I are hugely into dance, and that makes dancing so much nicer, knowing that we can go on dance weekends together, etc. But we've also got some separate hobbies that we can do on our own, and having that little bit of separation helps keep us from driving each other nuts, probably. Okay, well, the community was a bit harsher than I was, but we got to the same result. It's kind of time to evaluate things and see if OP needs to move on from this. And we're gonna do just that. We're gonna move on to the update to see how this story ends. Basically, my boyfriend wanted me to stop snowboarding despite it being my favorite sport and something I planned to pursue for a while. I was really frustrated by it, especially because he'd pledged an interest in it beforehand, then gone back on it, and I felt it was really disrespectful. It seemed a lot of people agreed, and I was very grateful for it. It gave me the confidence to tell my boyfriend that either he got with my passions or he didn't get with me. I made it clear he didn't have to snowboard, he didn't have to like it, he just had to respect it. He got pissed and told me I was sacrificing my body for something that's not permanent, that's just luck and danger. I told him he was being a snob and pointed out that sports is, at times, very artistic and super permanent. Just look at the Olympics. When I brought that up, he went ballistic and said I didn't know what real art is and I don't have any taste. He said he liked me better when we started dating and now I'm barely a good girlfriend. I asked if that meant he liked me on painkillers and in bed, and he said that if that makes me a better woman, then yes. It was the moment that it clicked. He didn't really care about who I was as a person, he only cared about being involved with him. It was like he was writing it out on the wall. He doesn't love me. He loved the version of me that was on painkillers and didn't have the strength or energy to do anything but watch what he did and be his captive audience. He's a complete tool. It's like a flashing neon sign. This guy doesn't love you, and I can't believe I missed it earlier. I was reading the comments on my original post and I was like, but it totally clicked when he was actually spewing that garbage to my face. I felt so distinctly hurt. Anyway, I kicked him to the curb and took myself and my friend snowboarding as a reward for putting up with him. We had a lot of fun and I'm definitely glad he's gone. There's so much more room for the awesome people in my life. Thanks to everyone for the help. It was really considerate of everybody to take the time out of their day to contribute and give me advice. It was honestly super touching. Hope you guys have a good Tuesday. Alright, well I guess I've been proven wrong in giving him the benefit of the doubt. He was a complete tool. So good for you, OP, for getting out of that relationship and enjoying what you love. Take care, OP, and thank you for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.